Dash Academy is one of the best fan comics I've ever read. It acts as a prequel to My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. In the main series, it's assumed that the main six are adults. They live by themselves and they have jobs. They're probably in their 20s or 30s. So the intended audience of the show is probably the same age, really, as the Cutie Mark Crusaders. But I digress. Dash Academy is about the high school years. What happened to Fluttershy and Rainbow Dash before settling in Ponyville? The setting is Cloudsteel Flight Academy, which canonically Rainbow Dash, Fluttershy, Gilda, and these other Pegasi who appear in the main series have attended. I really like the design. It reminds me of University of Carolina in the Sky, which Ramona attended in Scott Pilgrim. The authors also redrawn the first page, and the art style has come a long way. First though, I want to explain the wing boner joke. In episode 21 of the main series, Pinkie Pie does a burlesque dance in order to settle a conflict between the Native American ponies and the settler ponies. And in the first frame, Rainbow Dash has her wings tucked in, and then her wings spring out after Pinkie Pie begins her show. There's no reason for her to have untucked the wings, so she wasn't going to fly away or anything, so fans were joking that she got a wing boner. So that's the joke. Dash and Gilda see someone get a wing boner in class and make fun of him, and then Dash gets one too. It's funny if you're reading it, trust me. After popping a wing boner in class, Rainbow Dash gets a love note from Brawly Brella, which is really creepy and describes her erect wings. So Dash gives him a piece of her mind, and he doesn't know what she's talking about and runs away crying. Dash immediately realizes that this was a prank from Gilda, who continues to be mean in the main series, so you know that their toxic friendship will continue for years after this. They get into a fight and land in detention. Fluttershy is in this comic too, the way you'd expect someone like Fluttershy to be, a nerdy social outcast with braces. And unfortunately, she becomes the next target of Rainbow and Gilda. Dash gets the idea to give her a fake love note to freak her out. Unfortunately, their intentionally cringy love note makes Fluttershy genuinely excited, because she's cheesy. Then Fluttershy starts getting double bullied, so Rainbow Dash has to step in because they were childhood friends, also in canon. I love how many references the author has kept true to canon. I'm sure Brawly is based on an actual background character too. But anyways, the bullies make fun of her for being into girls. This takes place in the 90s, remember. When Fluttershy tries to thank her for stepping in, Rainbow Dash tells her to fuck off. Even worse, Rainbow Dash cares about college athletics, and the bully's uncle is the coach of the team. However, she is the fastest of them all. She's able to do a sonic rainboom, which is when someone flies so fast they break the sound barrier. And when she does it, there's a cool rainbow, I guess. Then we have a quick detour into Fluttershy Academy, where she lives a quiet, lonely school life, but yearns to go to the dance. Luckily, she receives another note, from her secret admirer? Back to Dash. Unfortunately, Gilda got on the varsity team, and she got put on the junior team, which is for nerds, as we see with Derpy Hooves. Yes, that's right, Derpy Hooves was a Pegasus, and so she too shall be in Dash Academy. Rainbow Dash crashes out at the coach and is forced to go to the first meeting of the Junior Speedsters, where she's joined by Brawly, Derpy, Archie, and Firefly and Surprise, who are based off of G1 ponies and the original blueprints for Rainbow Dash and Pinkie Pie. Surprisingly, no pun intended, Surprise is one of the Wonderbolts in the main series, so it can be assumed that this is the beginning of her path to greatness. In present day, however, Rainbow Dash has a terrible time playing with these Pegasi way below her league. Meanwhile, Gilda had a great time on the field playing Stormball, which is like football in the sky with storms, and goes to hang out with Rainbow Dash's bullies. Dash confides to the other junior speedsters that she's tired of the rumors that she and Gilda are gay for each other, so Archie, who is crushing on Gilda, tells her to take a guy to the dance to make them stop. Dash tries asking Brawly, but he's already interested in someone else. Surprise? But Archie knows an older guy who played varsity and was very popular. Firefly tries to talk her out of it by telling her to ignore the rumors, but Rainbow Dash tells her to fuck off. It turns out that Gilda was already asked to the dance by Billy, the bully, but Dash's date is real and a total stud, even though he's not a Pegasus. They gave him some magical dragonfly wings so he can walk on clouds, and he even tells off the bully. Back to Fluttershy Academy. I really feel for Fluttershy here. The author really captures the feeling of social anxiety when you go to a big event without knowing anyone and you think that everyone is judging you for being by yourself. Also, it's high school, so they probably are judging her for being by herself. Horrifically, Dash's date tries to get her to come to his apartment after the dance, and she's a sophomore in high school, so she's what, 15 to 16? She even tries saying no, but he threatens to tell everyone the truth, that they're fake dating to get rid of lesbian rumors. Of course, this is still a bad reason to sleep with someone, but at Dash's age, she already cares about those rumors a lot. Anyway, this is an adult trying to convince underage Rainbow Dash to do it. Fluttershy has realized she's getting stood up, and Brawly tries to work up the courage to ask her to dance, but he's unable to and she flies away crying. At the same time, Gilda is bored out of her mind, listening to Billy brag about himself the whole time. Then Archie asks her to dance, and he and Billy start a fight. Surprise in Firefly, the most well-adjusted characters in this comic clock that everyone's having a bad time and decide to do something about it, which is bringing the Stormball storm clouds over. If exposed, Pierce's wings will be damaged by rain and render him unable to fly. After escaping the dance, Dash talks to Firefly and realizes she was saved. Derpy meets up with Pierce, unfortunately. If you consider that in the main series, Derpy is sometimes accompanied by a baby pony named Dinky, and Derpy is the same age as the main cast but already has a kid, it can be assumed that Derpy had Dinky when she was young, maybe in college or high school. There's more development for Derpy in this next arc, where the speedsters keep losing games because of her and Rainbow Dash gets sick of it. Firefly implies that something bad happened to her, but Rainbow Dash quits the team, already abandoned by her friend Gilda, who is now hanging out with the bullies. Dash decides the only person she can turn to is her childhood friend Fluttershy, who has been skipping class since the dance. When wondering why her room was unlocked, Dash sees the second letter asking her to the dance, right when Fluttershy walks in. They have a heart-to-heart about what happened between them and decide to become friends again. Yay! What's more, the team apologizes to Dash and even bakes her a cake to have her come back. They start training seriously, with Fluttershy as support. Heh. After a season's hard work, they end up winning more games and becoming closer friends. When Christmas approaches, the gang goes to Ponyville, and we even see Rarity. But yeah, during a talk about crushes, it's confirmed in a flashback that Derpy was knocked up by Pierce, but Firefly is the only person who knows. And that Rainbow Dash's first crush was actually Billy, before he started being, mean as heck. And now for Billy Academy. Billy also keeps talking about Rainbow Dash and plots a prank where they unveil a sign that says Rainbow Dash loves Fluttershy. Gilda doesn't want to participate and asks him to drop it. The kiss messitude is crazy. Gilda wants to make amends with Dash, but understandably, Dash doesn't want to be friends with her new friend's bullies. Dash also has a weird dream while she's watching a movie with Firefly, which ends, with a callback to the first page. But basically, Dash is finally having her gay awakening. Not with Gilda or Fluttershy, so the bullies were wrong about that. Which I'm a little disappointed about too, because I'm an OG Flutter Dash shipper. I kind of like the shy versus aggressive dynamic, but I guess Rainbow Dash doesn't want Fluttershy in any universe. She considers pursuing it, but doesn't want to get teased, so she ends up avoiding Firefly, and hangs out with Gilda for the first time in a while. They end up breaking into an abandoned weather factory. Oh yeah, Pegasi in the My Little Pony universe are responsible for making the weather. And then Gilda tries to shoplift, which Rainbow Dash is not okay with, and they get into another fight. She misses Firefly. The two end up coming to an agreement, but things are not the same anymore. The team's doing so well, they go to Las Pegasus with the varsity team for a game. They even get compliments from the varsity team for the win and celebrate by going to a Wonderbolt show. During the show, Firefly holds Dash's hoof, signaling her feelings are returned. Gilda walks in on them cuddling in their hotel room. Then the next day, when Hoops gets injured, the varsity coach calls in Dash. She and Billy have some conflicts at first, but together they're able to make a winning play. This makes Gilda really happy, and she hopes that they can all become friends. Firefly and Dash end up taking their relationship further. Dash ends up bringing Gilda to train the junior team, but she starts by trash-talking them, mentioning that Fluttershy was Brawly's second choice as a reference to the prank love letter that she wrote to Dash. It's revealed that Dash wrote the first note to Fluttershy, but they still don't know who wrote the purple note, since it wasn't Brawly. Dash theorizes that it was written by Billy and the other bullies. Derpy's secret comes to a head as she almost throws the semifinals protecting her stomach. Meanwhile, Billy's friends find out about Dash and Firefly after eavesdropping through a vent. Gilda, who has already put two and two together about their relationship, is disgusted by this behavior and begs Billy to try being friends with Rainbow Dash. He decides to give her one shot by inviting her to a get-together. Dash meets Firefly's cousin that's already in college. Firefly is a senior, and Dash is a sophomore in high school, so they're going to be long distance after this year. The cousin comments that she tried long distance with her high school sweetheart as well, but it fizzled out. This causes the two to grow concerned about the future of their relationship. Gilda invites Dash to the get-together that Billy has planned, and she accepts. It's cute how excited she gets here, but when Dash goes to practice, she notices both Firefly and Derpy are missing. When Dash goes to find Firefly, it's clear something is wrong. Firefly reveals that Derpy has been 3 months pregnant and hasn't said anything the whole time. I guess Firefly only knew that Derpy had contact with Pierce, not that she was actually pregnant, let alone wanting to keep it. They also can't tell anyone because they want to give Derpy time to tell her parents. Also, this final panel, Firefly says she's having a foal, why can't I be happy for her? I feel like this could be interpreted two ways. Number 1 is just concern for Derpy, but number 2 is that Firefly is lesbian and won't be able to have biological kids with the woman she loves. Unfortunately, throughout all this, Dash has stood up Gilda and Billy at the party, and Gilda wants to know why. Dash wants to keep Derpy's secret and is unable to tell Gilda the reason. Understandably, Gilda is upset she can't even give a good reason for standing her and Billy up and leaves in tears. At their next practice, Billy shows up, just watches them ominously, and leaves. Later, when Dash and Firefly are locking up the storms, Billy catches them and threatens to report them for ruining the Starlight Dance. This makes Dash wise up and actually communicate with Gilda about Derpy's pregnancy, and Gilda understands. So if she did this in the first place, this could have all been avoided, but now they're on a mission to prevent Billy from spilling the beans. Also, Hoops is the real villain here for implying that Billy is Griffin whipped and the bottom of the pecking order. Toxic masculinity at its best. Gilda confronts Billy about going behind her back to report Firefly, and Dash tells him to stallion up, which is apparently his sleeper agent code and triggers something in him, maybe a side effect of having a drill sergeant uncle, and he locks the two of them in the basement and flies off to report them. And that was the last part. I don't know what happens after that, because unfortunately, that was 7 years ago and it hasn't been updated since. What ends up happening to Gilda and Billy? What ends up happening to Firefly and Rainbow Dash? Who wrote Fluttershy the purple note? These questions will probably never be answered. However, I think there's something to be said about Rainbow Dash and Billy's possible mutual attraction. Billy used to make fun of Rainbow Dash and Gilda for being into each other, but he ended up being attracted to Gilda. Despite his best efforts to sabotage her, his uncle is still brought around to Rainbow Dash's sheer talent and charisma. And Rainbow Dash is faster than him, so if I was him, I would probably be scared of Rainbow Dash stealing my bitch as well. Also, for good reason, Gilda has always been defending Rainbow Dash to Billy, even after Rainbow Dash brought her to tears. I think he's a really well-written character, even though he's the villain here. This series has such a good portrayal of heavy topics that I wouldn't expect to see in a My Little Pony fan comic, such as coming to terms with your sexuality while dealing with homophobia, being taken advantage of by an older man. And the friendship comeback of Rainbow Dash and Fluttershy? I'm sure we all wish we could have this talk with someone in our lives. A former friend perhaps, who we've lost touch with over the years. I could deduct a point for it being unfinished, but that doesn't seem fair because otherwise this comic was a beautiful, well-written read that I would read again. My rating is 10 out of 10. If you're into My Little Pony, LPS Popular, or Euphoria, you should check it out. And if you're interested in other webcomics and webtoons, I will be reviewing more, so make sure to subscribe. See you.